Howdy friends, welcome to Andy's Audio Crap, where we talk about audio gear in all of its glory. Today we have this modified SX-780 Pioneer and this Marantz 2230. Let's talk about these dudes. Hey, actually stay tuned to the end of the video. I'm gonna let you hear both of the amplifiers side by side. I am Marantz. I am the contender. I will win. Da, da, da. If you've already watched the Marantz portion of this series of videos, just skip ahead to like 7 minutes. Hopefully you're already familiar with Marantz. They have a long legacy of creating some of the most sought after, most desirable receivers and amplifiers. This in particular is a 2230. The 2230, they sold, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of these, but they used to be a dime a dozen. You could go out on any alley and find 2 or 3 of them. I'm being a little sarcastic, but 10 years ago, these were next to worthless. Now, these are just going through the roof. So why? Well, they sound absolutely killer good. In my pursuit to find something that can substitute in for this, I'm going to be looking at several different categories. This is my receiver stereo amp score sheet, and every amp that I compare to the Marantz is going to get a score sheet. The Marantz got a score sheet, and what we're going to look at on the score sheet is listening crap, input output rating crap, and value add crap. Now, let's go through the Marantz in particular. I got to find it. There's a lot of them. I compared a lot of amps here. Receivers. Top to bottom, this amplifier, as this one sits right now, would probably sell for $800 to $1,200 on eBay, depending on the day, depending on the buyer. It's Christmas time. God knows it's just going to go crazy. So that classic 70s sound is what you're going to get with one of these. You look at the controls, you only have a very limited amount of controls on this thing. You have a receiver, you have tone controls, which is low, medium, high, bass, mid, treble. You have phono in, aux in, and a couple of cassettes, I think. No, one cassette, and that's it. You got a pre-out, main in, things like that. It's really super basic, but it sounds absolutely phenomenal, and the looks, you can't deny it. The looks are great. Now, on the listening crap, because this is our benchmark and we want to be able to distinguish between this and other receivers that I'm going to review, it gets 5s all the way down. Total score 25. We're going to score inputs 10 each, and we're only looking at aux, CD, and phono. If it can do 4 ohms, it gets 20 points. Non-surround sound speaker outputs. So we're going to be doing some stereos that have surround sound. I just don't even care about the other outputs, only the main outs. Left-right channel leakage. This one's a little bit of an odd duck, but it's pretty easy to test. You unplug one channel from the input, unplug the speaker from the opposite, and or no, you plug in, oh no, wait, I got that wrong. You unplug one of the inputs, unplug the same speaker. No, the other one. Anyways, it's some mix of that, and if you can hear audio coming through, there's leakage. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the Marantz at a -10, which is the middle. Separation and stage, kind of a byproduct of a lot of things. Dynamic range, leakage, just general ability of the stereo to replicate stereo sound. We're gonna again put Marantz right in the middle. It's gonna be a 10. So Marantz got a total input output or input total output thing. This Krapp score. Right here, it's got a 60. And then the value add crap is stuff like serviceability, which this one, we're gonna put it at the max. We're gonna say, this is the max of serviceability. Everything from there on out is just going downhill, right? If you can match the serviceability of this, actually, you know, just gonna use my own experience here. This thing is ridiculously serviceable. Build quality, we're gonna put this right in the middle. We're gonna say, hey, this is middle tier. And you're gonna see on some of these amps that they just went to the hilt to outdo themselves on things that you'll never ever see unless you're working on them. And then value, price. Now, the Marantz is gonna be lower on this scale, right? It's very expensive for what it is, for how many watts you're getting, and well, you'll see as you watch these videos, you'll see. The faceplate option and just general attractiveness. Marantz, I put it at a 40. This is gonna be a series. I don't know how long it's gonna go on. I just keep finding stuff and buying it to review against the Marantz. All right, let's look at what we're comparing to in this video. This is our handy, wonderful Pioneer SX-780 that has been modified. When I say modified, it has had everything upgraded on the inside that can be upgraded, such as the capacitors, the transistors, some of the resistors. Let's see here. Oh, mainly the STK packs. Pulled the old STK packs, even though they were working, and put in replacement boards. And those can be found out on eBay land, and the seller of them has a really good reputation. eBay land, just, you know, it's got kind of a shady reputation here and there, but this guy's cool. Go buy his STK pack replacements. They're fairly expensive. You're gonna pay up for them, but they sound great. They're awesome. And on the bench, this was putting out more power than the STK packs. So, but how does it sound? That's really what it boils down to. And overall, it's a more live sounding experience than the Marantz. The Marantz has a curve to it that's somewhat artificial. It doesn't sound live to my ears in my environment with my La Scalas, which La Scalas are supposed to sound more live than other speakers comparatively. Let's just, I don't even want to debate about it. They sound more live than any speaker that I've heard. This sounds, this really, really emphasizes that. When you listen to guitars and Cadillacs, Take 5, those both sounded like I was there, listening to an acoustic session. It just sounded great. It's out of this world good. I gave them 8. I veered away from 10 because there's some other stuff that I've listened to that sounded better. As far as like Enter Sandman, Rocket Man, is very similar. You can see on the sheet. Mama said though, this thing fell on its face, and I think it's because of the range of that's required. You know, Mama said really does. It almost begs for the loudness to be turned on so that you can pick out the nuances and details of that song. So it kind of fell on its face here. Of course, you can turn the loudness on and you can make it sound exactly like the Marantz. And you can turn the loudness on and make it sound exactly like a live show. The inputs, outputs, and rating crap is all the same as the Marantz, with the exception of the right-left channel leakage. I could hear way less. And I'd redo this stupid thing every time I put a new one out for the compare. I set this one out, I set this one out, I hook everything up, and I'll sit back here and play with the ins and the outs, and you can way hear this one. This one is almost listening volume. This one is much more muted. So as a result, when you start getting to higher volumes, the separation and soundstage of the Pioneer is so much better. This one starts to melt. It almost starts to sound like mono after you've got it turned way up. All right, as far as serviceability, I rated this one really low because the STK packs the jury's still out on whether or not the substitute STK packs you can get are any good. I've heard really bad stories and heard just decent stories. But the replacement, the board, the substitute board is pretty expensive, and to get one installed, you're going to be paying a tech. So there you go. Build quality is on par. The price and value for this one, the way I have it set up right now, I had to put a really low score because it's very expensive to do this. This was not cheap by any means. This is now a $900 receiver, whereas you can buy these all day long for $200, not working. Silver champagne, or maybe if you're real lucky, you can find one working for $200. Silver champagne color option, pretty much run-of-the-mill. As far as visually attractive, they do look very different, but very similar on the same. Some subtle nuances. You're going to have people that just absolutely love the way this looks and hates the way this looks and hate and love. But compared to the Harman Kardon, which is another video, very similar when you take that into consideration. And then extremely very similar once you get into the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, which we're going to be doing some of those. So next up is the listening session. Thank you for watching the whole video. Put some comments down there. Rude people get roasted, so if there's comments down there, you may want to look. I may have roasted somebody. Thanks. Have a good day.